Hola, I'm Darkis and welcome to my studio. On this video, I'm going to show you how I painted the Nutcracker on a clear Christmas ball. The supplies list is in the description, and I got this ball at the dollar store. The colors that I have here are the lavender, a dark purple, Prussian green, and white. This ball has lines that go around like halfway. So what I'm gonna do on the first half of the ball, I'm gonna go ahead and put the tree on the middle, the ballerina on one side, and then the nutcracker on the other side. And then I'm gonna turn it over and do the clock, the king mouse, or the mouse king, however it's called, and the fairy. So let's get started, and I hope you guys like this video. So I start off just color blocking, and I'm just calculating where my center is gonna be. So I would say somewhere around here. So I'm gonna start with my tree. For this project, I'm using acrylic paints. Whenever I feel that my brushes are starting to get a little bit too dry, I just dab it in water so that it can glide. And here I'm just trying to make the bottom of the tree thicker as I go down. I'm gonna use a little bit of black to darken the leaves of the tree because I feel that it's too light right now. I'm not being too particular as to where my brush strokes are. I'm just trying to make different variations of green at this point. And now I'm dabbing it just a little bit on the white to start making lighter tones. And I'm just doing it randomly. Okay, so now that I feel that the first layer is good, then I just go ahead and start working on the next one. So the next figure is gonna be the ballerina, since she's gonna have a lot of detail. And right now I'm just dabbing the paint just a little bit so that it doesn't dry on me. The tree turned out to be a little bit bigger than I was expecting, so I'm gonna have to make the ballerina and the nutcracker just a bit smaller. So for the ballerina, I'm just doing the main torso, trying to figure out where the placement is going to be of her body. So there is my ballerina, and I think I'm definitely gonna have to make adjustments to this. I'm gonna go back to my tree to make adjustments to it because it's clearly way too small, I think. The good thing with acrylics is that it dries so fast. So I would like to apologize for any weird sound. I just got new equipment and I'm learning how to use it. So now I have the foundation for my ballerina, I got the foundation for the tree, and I'm gonna go ahead and work on the Nutcracker. And here I'm just adding a few Christmas ornaments. Now at this point I'm wondering whether I should add a base point to where the ground is supposed to be. So now that I have the ballerina and the Nutcracker, I go ahead and turn it around and start working on the next ones. So here you can see what I've done so far, and this is just the first coat. So now I start working on the clock, which is really gonna just be something very simple, or somewhat simple. Okay, so I start with a circle just to do my color blocking. And there you can see it's very simple. So now that I have my clock, I go ahead and work on the fairy. Maybe her just sort of looking at the clock. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another layer for this. And finally, I'm gonna do the Mouse King right away here. And for the Mouse King, I found a super cute mouse, which I'll put the link. But I'll probably just make his eyes red just to make it look mean. But I really like the mouse that I found, so I'm gonna go with it. And I guess I'll put a little crown on him once I do some of the details. And that's the basic shape that I'll be using it. I think I'm gonna make the ears a little bit bigger because you can kind of hardly see them there. And I'm just going back to my clock and making it bigger. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm gonna go ahead and let it dry for a little bit. There's my fairy, Nutcracker, the tree, and the ballerina. So I've never seen the Nutcracker, but from what I've researched, there are several versions of it. So here I'm just gonna share with you one of them. So the story begins on Christmas Eve, and the family has gathered together with friends and family to decorate the Christmas tree for the party. After they finish the tree, they call for the children, and when the children see the tree, they are amazed by the candles and decorations on the tree. And now the party begins. A march is played. And the presents are given out to the children. Then suddenly a mysterious figure enters the room. It is Drosselmeyer, Clara's godfather, who's also a talented toy maker and has brought with him gifts for the children, as well as 4 lifelike dolls who dance to the enjoyment of all. Later he has them put away for safekeeping. Clara and Fritz are sad to see them go. But Drosselmeyer has yet another toy for them, a wooden Nutcracker. The other children don't seem to care for it much, but Clara immediately takes a liking to it. Unfortunately, Fritz breaks it, and Clara is heartbroken. After everyone else has gone to bed, Clara goes back to check on her beloved Nutcracker. And as she approaches the little bed, the clock strikes midnight. And then she looks up and sees Drosselmeyer. Suddenly, mice start filling the room, and the Christmas tree starts growing to crazy heights. The Nutcracker also grows to life size, and Clara finds herself trapped in the battle between the gingerbread soldiers and the mice, who are led by the Mouse King. The Nutcracker appears to be leading the soldiers, who are joined by Tin Ones and dolls. The dolls are serving as doctors and they're carrying away the wounded. As the Mouse King approaches the wounded Nutcracker, Clara throws her shoe at him, distracting him just long enough for the Nutcracker to stab him. Finally, the mouse retreat, and then the Nutcracker becomes a handsome prince. Then the prince leads Clara through a pine forest. And they end up traveling to the beautiful land of sweets, who's ruled by the Sugar Plum Fairy, and is replacing the prince until his return. He tells her how Clara saved him from the Mouse King, and then transformed back to himself. To honor Clara, they make a celebration of sweets from around the world. Everyone dances, and a string of beautiful flowers perform a waltz. To end the night, the Sugar Plum Fairy and her cavalier perform a dance. A final waltz is performed by all the sweets, and then the Sugar Plum Fairy guides Clara and the prince down from their throne. He bows to her and she kisses Clara goodbye. Then she takes them to a reindeer-drawn sleigh that's waiting for them. As it leaves, they wave goodbye to everyone. And that's the end. Although there are different endings to this story, and there are other endings in which Clara is sleeping and then she awakens wondering whether it was a dream or if it was true. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some gel gloss medium, and with this I'm just hoping that it will prevent from flaking or from the paint coming off. This is the very first time that I'm trying this, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I've tried gel medium on canvas and paper, but never in such a smooth surface like this one. Here I'm just adding some glitter. And now I'm just turning it around for you to see the skirt sparkling. You can see the detail on the Nutcracker. Now I'm just adding a candy cane string. I'm just adding a second coat of the gel medium, and when this dries, it's gonna dry clear. And here you can see the finished piece on my Christmas tree. And here is a still picture of Clara, the Christmas tree, the Nutcracker, the fairy, the grandfather clock, and the Mouse King. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, sub, and share. If you'd like to be notified every time I post a video, make sure to hit the bell.